Greetings, everyone. Hello, what's up, Wagwan? Welcome again to another episode of the Jamaican Mommies Show. And today we have a very special episode because we're talking to a Jamaican mommy who lives in the United States. And more importantly, she has taken her 2 rounds of the COVID-19 vaccines, and we wanted to share a bit about her experience. So we have with us Diedre, and we encourage you to stay tuned for more. This episode of the Jamaican Mommy Show is brought to you by Kai Kids, one convenient kit with all the items you need to be clean and healthy on the go. Grab one today. Contact Kai Kids at Kai Health Kids on Facebook and Instagram. Kai Kids, be clean, be healthy. Okay, so welcome back to the Jamaican Mommy Show. As we mentioned, we're interviewing a Jamaican mom who resides in the United States. And so Diedre has been a nurse for over 12 years. Currently, she's also a program director for informatics. In a simple word, she's a technology nurse. And as mentioned before, Diedre will be talking to us about her experience having taken both doses of her COVID-19 vaccine. So Diedre, thank you so much for joining us here on the Jamaican Mommy Show. And big up, how are things over there?
Things are going okay. Okay, so far. Thank you for having me.
Okay, that's awesome. I wanted to talk a little bit through this. So, Diedre, I know you're in the health field. Was your decision to take the COVID-19 vaccine in any way influenced by your being within the health profession?
Yes. So basically, right now, currently, only healthcare providers are getting the vaccines and adults who are over 65, and also persons who are younger than that who have some other comorbidities. So what that means is the vaccine is only being administered to a certain population at this time in the United States. So if you're a regular person that has no, if you're not in the healthcare field, or if you're not one of those meet those criteria, then you won't be able to get the vaccine at this time. Being in the healthcare field, I'm no stranger to vaccines or getting things that you need in order to work in a hospital. I remember I've had to take the varicella vaccine, which is the one for chickenpox, and I also have to take the flu vaccine every year in order to work in a hospital. So the decision to get the vaccine was basically a combination of multiple things, hearing about these patients, seeing these patients in the hospital that have COVID-19, and just weighing my risk and my benefits about getting the vaccine versus not getting the vaccine.
Okay. All right. In terms of COVID-19, and there's a bit of concerns. People have been a little afraid of some of the things they're hearing about the vaccines. There has just generally been, there's been conspiracy theories. There have been hesitation. There's been people talking about genetic mutation, etc. Was this also a concern for you prior to taking the COVID-19 vaccine?
So I will tell you that I was very nervous. I was one of those people who was like, I'm not taking this vaccine, at least not in the first batch, right? So initially, it was mid-December when it was announced that Pfizer is the vaccine that I have taken. So it was mid-December, and they said, we got emergency authorization for Pfizer. And I was like, I'm not taking this vaccine right now. The Jamaican in me came out that, no, I'm not going to be the guinea pig for this vaccine. Let all my coworkers go first, and I'll see what happens. So that was me. So at the time we were able to make appointments, to get the vaccine, schedule your appointment so that we can get the vaccine. And I was like, I'm scheduling mine for January. I'm scheduling mine for the end of January. That's what I said first. So I did schedule it, and just going through and talking to coworkers, everybody was getting it, and they were still around to tell the tale. So nothing happened to them. And I just woke up one morning and said, I'm gonna get the vaccine today. But there was a lot of factors that came into it. I mentioned before, weighing the risk and the benefits of the vaccine. I work in the healthcare industry. I work in a hospital, so I know the impact that COVID-19 has on the healthcare community and for the patients and their families. Like we were restricting visitors and patients were dying alone. It was very, very sad. And I just know the effects of COVID-19, and just weighing my risk and the benefits of getting the vaccine versus actually contracting the virus. It was a no-brainer for me.
Okay. All right. So you seem to have put quite a bit of thought into the decision. And one thing we forgot to pick up was how long ago did you get your vaccine? So tell us when you got your first dose and when you got your second dose.
So I got my first dose on December 23rd, and the second dose I got on January 11th.
Okay. And so there was a bit of time between them. So just talk to us about the side effects, what happened in the first instance, what happened in the second instance in terms of side effects and just the entire process to get your COVID-19 vaccine.
Right, cool. So in the hospital, so we have to make an appointment. So when I went to my appointment, you checked in, you signed a consent, and they also had a questionnaire about if you've had any reactions to the vaccine, et cetera, et cetera. So once you did that portion, you went in, you got the vaccine. They also monitored us for 15 minutes after getting the vaccine just to make sure that we have no reactions to the vaccine. So after the 15 minutes finished, we went about our day. The first vaccine, I didn't have any real side effects. My arm was sore for like 24 hours. Regular vaccine soreness. We normally get the flu vaccine. You know what that little soreness feels like. So I didn't have anything with the first vaccine other than the arm tenderness for 24 hours. The second vaccine now was a whole different story. So, and it's funny because remember, I didn't take my vaccine initially the same time as a lot of my coworkers. I waited like two weeks after it started to be issued to get it. So a lot of my coworkers got their second vaccine before I did. So a lot of them had, most of them had some fever and chills, and they felt tired. Like almost everybody told me that they felt, fatigued. They were tired, and the communication from my employer was, try and take the vaccine when you know you don't have work the next day. So maybe on a Friday, or if you have it in the middle of the week, take the next day off, just so in case you have any side effects that you're not at work. But knowing your girl, Diedre, I was out there big Monday morning. I got my second vaccine Monday morning, bright and early, and was fine. I was fine all day. But I did take ibuprofen before, otherwise known as Motrin. I did take some Motrin before because some of my coworkers was like, take a little medication beforehand. So if anything happened, you kind of have something to boost you up. So I did take ibuprofen before, and then I was fine through the day. I was like, nothing happening to me. I'm going to be good. Like, hey. However, when I got home, and it was time to go to bed. I think it was after 11 or sometime there. I was trying to go to bed and I couldn't fall asleep. So I had insomnia. And that was not one of the side effects that you hear about, Nobody talk about insomnia with these vaccines. But I literally had insomnia. I couldn't fall asleep. And I doze off and I wake up and then I couldn't stay asleep. And I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't fall asleep. So throughout the entire night, I probably got maybe 2.5, 3 hours sleep the entire night because I was in and out of sleep, and it was just weird, right? So then, because I didn't sleep, I was tired. When you say tired, like I was walking around work like, oh my God, these people are gonna see me here walking around work tired. And it was weird. Like you kind of feel not yourself, kind of, but then it could have been the vaccine, and it could have been the fact that I didn't sleep. But either way, it was still the vaccine because the vaccine was the reason why I didn't sleep. Yeah, and then after that, I also had another side effect. My arm got very red and painful. It lasted like 5-6 days. So it took a while. So I actually had a red patch right here. And I didn't notice, like no one that I knew had a red patch on their arm until later on. Like, no, I'm seeing it in the media now. People having these red patches on their arm that they're saying, just make sure it's not like warm to touch or anything like that. And if you feel like something is wrong, then you should get it checked out. But for me, I didn't think that anything was too wrong with it. And by 5-6 days, it had gone away and my arm was better. So those were the two side effects that I had. But kind of 2 to 3, I guess you could say tiredness was one, but that could have been from me having lack of sleep the night before. So yeah.
All right, but it has been a while though, because January 23rd is when you took the second dose. So any other anything weird, have you started seeing in a third dimension? Are you reacting to electronic fields? Are you getting a magnetic force pull, or are you hearing voices in your head saying, Deidre, send all your money to Shanoy's bank account? Any sort of side effects that you've gotten since then?
Nothing telling me to give you any money yet. Nothing yet. But to be honest, my sleep pattern, I feel like it did take a while to get back to normal. Um, I don't usually sleep straight through the night anyway. Like I usually wake up maybe once or twice and then fall right back asleep. But I do think that my sleep pattern was a little bit weird for a couple of days. But after that, I was fine. Like I have not had any other symptoms other than my arm redness, the tiredness, and the fatigue. At that time, and the insomnia. So since then, I haven't had anything that I know of or that I could identify as being different. It's been good.
All right, sounds good. And then because you would have been around your coworkers as well, any side effects that are separate from yours that they would have had, anything different, anything out of the norm apart from the three that you would have mentioned that you personally experienced?
So I had some coworkers that had low grade fever, like in the 99.8, enough that they wouldn't feel comfortable coming to work. So I did have some coworkers that couldn't come to work the next day because they started having fevers and chills overnight. But usually the symptoms lasted within 24 hours, 24, 36 hours. So usually it's just the one day off of work and then they were fine to come back the following day. So I have had some coworkers with fevers and chills and then the tiredness and the insomnia. I did speak to some coworkers after I had insomnia, and a few coworkers shared that, yeah, I did have issues with my sleep that they probably didn't identify at the time. But after speaking about it and stuff, we realized that that is a side effect of the COVID-19 vaccine, the Pfizer.
Okay, the Pfizer. So I'm glad you mentioned the Pfizer because we wanted to do a disclaimer as well that in particular, the vaccine that you would have gotten is Pfizer and not any of the others. Are you familiar with any of the others by chance, though, Deidre? And did you did you have a decision though? Did you kind of say, all right, I'm going to take Pfizer? Or is it that that was just what was available to you at the time when you decided to take the vaccine?
Well, I didn't have a decision at the time when I was taking the vaccine. You kind of just take whatever was available at the time. Pfizer was the first one that became available and got the emergency authorization used from here in the United States. So that was the one that my employer had at the time. Shortly after, they got Moderna. So we kind of knew a little bit about Moderna and Pfizer and that they kind of work the same. I don't know all the specifics about her work, or I don't remember all the details, but they were kind of similar in how they worked. I do know that Pfizer requires colder temperature when being stored, and I know that my employer has the facility and has the capability to house the cold temperature with the vaccine. So I know that we had Pfizer for most of our doses. We had Pfizer, so I didn't have a choice. It was whatever was available, and they do recommend you getting whichever vaccine is available to you.
Okay, sounds good. So let's talk family now, Deidre, because at the end of the day, you're a Jamaican. And whether or not you're there in the US, I know your Jamaican family members will have things to say about it. So, what was that decision like? So, I know you have your husband there with you, but then I know you have Jamaican family members. What was the feedback like, from the family? Like, oh, yeah, Deidre, going to take the vaccine. What you know? We're going to see what's up. Did you have any kind of pushback from your family in terms of you making the decision to take the vaccine?
So I will tell you that before I took the vaccine, it was a whole thing. So not my immediate family, but I have other family members who are also healthcare providers. Like I have aunts that are nurses as well. And I would text them, "Hey, you're gonna get the vaccine." This was before it was available, and they were like, "No, me not take it. Me not take the vaccine. No, sir. Me not take it. Me not know why not this vaccine." And then you kind of doubt yourself. No, like I kind of want to take it, but I kind of don't want to take it because now you have these things in your ear, right? It's like you don't know, like it came about so quick. You don't want to be the guinea pigs. It was basically that part about being the guinea pigs, right? It was kind of like it's new and you don't want to be the first one out there. You don't know if you're going to get three eyes. You don't know what's going to happen. But my immediate family was fine with it. I'm in healthcare, and like I said before, vaccines is not, like we go with the medicine, right? Like we go with the science and we go with the medicine. And I remember my employer had a big town hall for all the employees, and they talked about the vaccine. And I spoke to doctors. So just thinking about just putting all those things into perspective, I felt comfortable eventually getting the vaccine. But how Jamaican people stay, Lord Jesus. Like
Okay.
even now I have friends who are Jamaican that are nurses, and they haven't taken it by choice because them just not take it yet.
Are those friends based in Jamaica or are they in the US?
No, they're in the US.
Okay.
They're in the US. So they've had the opportunity to take it, and they still haven't
Ah, okay.
by choice. So
I mean, admittedly, because lots of people would have been kind of in a phase of taste and see or testing or stuff. It's funny, the feedback has ranged from me not take the first batch because if it bad, me want to see if people are dead first. And then I heard someone come with a very interesting perspective to say the first batch will be the good batch because it is going to be a proof to people that it's safe to take it. So, you have these different extremes coming forth. So it's just very good to be talking to someone who has in fact taken the vaccine. All right, and so Diedre, having taken the vaccine, as I say, you live with your spouse. What was the situation like in your house? Did you guys sit down and say, all right, you know what? Yes, this is it. This is the situation. I know you work in the field. Go and take the vaccine, Diedre. Or was it a situation where there was some resistance from his part?
So you know what? That's kind of funny because, okay, so since COVID happened, my husband has been working from home. So we have been fortunate that he was able to work from home and my son was home. So he hasn't been out there in the public like I have been going to work every day as an essential worker, right? So when it was time to get the vaccine and I said, should I get the vaccine? He was like, no, why you want to get the vaccine? No, you don't have to take it. You don't have to take it. So at first I was like, okay then. So when I took the vaccine, I actually didn't tell him that I was going to get the vaccine initially. But after I got the dose, I had to tell him because I wanted him to monitor me. Like, watch in case anything happened to me. You have to watch me. So, but after I've taken the vaccine now, and it's been 3 months now since I've taken the vaccine, 2, 3 months since I've taken the vaccine, he is interested in getting the vaccine now. I guess because his system is still alive and nothing to do me. He is, when it's his turn to get the vaccine, he is going to take the vaccine. So we did talk about that, and yeah, he's going to take it. Okay. And I would encourage him to take it also because seeing that's not to me. All right. So
on behalf of spouses everywhere, couples, Jamaicans everywhere, thanks for being our guinea pig, because as I said, there's just been lots of skepticism and people are like, me want to see first. And, knowing you as well, Diedre, when I saw that you posted that you had taken the vaccine, I said, me want the update. I literally said I want to keep updated. And I know you have a YouTube channel as well where you detailed way more about your first vaccine experience as well as your second vaccine experience. So guys, if you're watching this, you want to check out Diedre, I will put her link here on the screen and you can check out not just her vaccine videos, but she shares lots of things. She's a Jamaican in the US and she keeps connected with her culture. So you can check that out. And so I'm just saying this to say that when I saw Diedre post that she had done the vaccine, I said, let me watch and see. I said, boy, I'm reading. I want to see Diedre dead, but I'm glad she has taken it so I can follow the journey to see what is happening with her. So, Diedre, but thanks not just for taking the vaccine, but for being so open to sharing with other persons what your experience was and to kind of allay a little bit of the fears that people are having. And, I know we're wrapping up, but if there's anything else you would want to say to people who have some hesitancy about taking the vaccine, people who are still concerned, anything at all that you just want to give in terms of general advice based on your own experience?
Yes. I do want to say that for people who are considering getting the vaccine, just do your research about the vaccines. I know there are several different ones out there. And also, in addition to researching about the vaccines, just think about the pros and the cons of getting the vaccine. Weigh your risk versus the benefits. I know for me personally, being in the healthcare field, you see the direct effects of COVID-19 and how it has an impact on people's body, even long after they have contracted the virus and after they have recuperated from the virus, they're still having lingering effects. And I just felt like getting the vaccine is way less risky than actually contracting the COVID-19 virus. So I would just encourage everyone to make that decision on your own. Right now, it is not required, especially at my job. It's not required at this time, but I'm not sure if in the future it will be required. So at this time, we do have an option if we want to take it or not take it. But just do your research, and everyone just stay safe. Oh, and even though I am vaccinated, I still wear my mask. It is still required, especially at my employer. We still have to wear mask. We still have to wear a mask every day at work, and a lot of the companies and organizations still require us to wear masks while in their place of business. For example, the grocery stores and so on. It's just one of those things where we need a certain amount of people to get vaccinated so that we have the herd immunity, and we're not there yet. So while we're still in this process, we are still required, and I would encourage everyone to continue to wear their mask so that we can stay safe.
Okay, so in addition to the vaccine, pretty much, just continue to still maintain your social distance, to wear your mask and to sanitize. And I said to people, in a worst case situation is that you're just protecting yourself from just regular germs. Because I've been proudly able to say that since following the protocols of wearing a mask and sanitizing, I haven't had flus. I haven't had regular flus or coughs and colds that I would have normally had.
No flu.
I think that really helped to reduce it as well. So thank you so much.
There was no flu. There was no flu here.
There, yes. Well, maybe flu disappeared.
There was no flu in the hospital this year.
When COVID came out. But in all honesty, though, the practices probably would have helped to lessen that flu burden that we would have typically had around the flu season. So thank you so much, Diedre, for sharing so much with us. And of course, for people who are watching, you can connect with Diedre, as I mentioned before. She's on YouTube. She's a YouTuber. And you can find her on YouTube at Diedre, which we'll put on the screen, right, Diedre? And any other thing you want to tell people, any other any other ways that they can connect with you, feel free to share it with them right now.
Okay, so I am available on YouTube, and my email is diedret876@gmail.com. That's diedret876@gmail.com.
Okay, so thank you so much, Diedre, for stopping by today. This was just such a very interesting chat, and I'm sure some of the persons who are looking on may have further questions. But of course, guys, if you're watching this and you have any particular questions for Diedre, drop them in the comment section, and I'm sure she'll be more than happy to assist. Remember as well, if you're watching this, to subscribe to Jamaican Mommies here on YouTube. Connect with Jamaican Mommies on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Mommies. And we also have a private Facebook group, Jamaican Mommies Group. So thank you so much again for tuning in, and have a very safe one. Walk good. Before we go, our proverb of the day by Grandma Joel.
No judge a book because of the cover.
Don't judge a book by its cover. What this means is that we should not be quick to value someone's worth just based on their outward appearance. Thank you for tuning in to the Jamaican Mommies Show. I'm your host, Shanoy. Please remember to subscribe here to Jamaican Mommies on YouTube and turn your notifications on so you do not miss an episode. Also, connect with Jamaican Mommies on Facebook and Jamaican Mommies on Instagram. We're also available at www.jamaicanmommies.com. Thank you so much as well to our sponsor for this episode at Kai Health Kits. So see you next time, and tune in for yet another episode of the Jamaican Mommies Show.